Hello everyone, welcome to the episode 3 of Spirit X podcast. I really appreciate your attention. We live in an attention economy and attention world, so you being here with me means that this podcast is important for you and spirituality is important for you, and I have nothing but appreciation for that. This is episode number 3, Spirit X podcast. We are exploring life from a spiritual standpoint, and we are slightly using my book, Spirit X, Spirituality for the Global and Digital Age, as a guide, and that's what we are going to do today. We are going to deal with the first paragraph in the book. So the book consists of 69 principles of paragraphs, so that's how I structured the book, like there is a good rhythm tuning of spiritual unfolding. So we actually started some real work today, and we are dealing with one important single but very, very important issue. And the issue or the question is, how does spiritual life start? Or how does the inner work start, or personal growth? Or there's an overlap here clearly between spirituality, philosophy, psychology, and other disciplines that are important for our growth. So how does that start? I'm contemplating upon that issue a lot. And there's a reason why I opened the book that way. In tradition, there are several ways of how that whole process starts. In the East, people usually meet a guru or a lama, and they realize, well, this is a really special being, so I want to be near them. In the West, it's a little bit different. I don't think we have that awakened beings in the West, so spiritual unfolding is a little bit different. For a lot of people globally, spiritual or inner life starts with some sort of tragedy. God forbid, some people get cancer or end up in the car accident or lose a job or are devastated after a relationship, and they are actually pushed by life to explore some inner foundations. And for many people, spiritual life starts like that, but that's a little bit tough start, I would say, and I wanted to choose something more gentle and elegant, and I came up with this solution. So for me in this book, and I tested that with many spiritual practitioners, spiritual life starts with a pause, with a slowing down of the karma of the body, mind, and the world, and then the inner peace kind of kicks in, the deeper investigation kind of kicks in, and that's how spiritual life starts. We continue with that process, and then it kind of snowballs in a good direction. But let me read something from my book. So I'll show you how the book looks. So there is 69 principles, so there is a principle number 1, and in each principle there are numerous paragraphs, so there is a kind of rhythm to it. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the book to kind of open a discussion. Spiritual life starts with a pause, a holy pause, with slowing down of the body, the mind, and the world. Modern living is characterized by high speed, complexity, and overwhelm, which overshadows the deeper dimension of our being, our higher potential, and our true self. When we pause, we slow down the karma of the body, the mind, and the world, and get ready to explore the deeper dimension of our being and reality. The best kind of pause is produced by engaging with numerous spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, contemplation, satsang, yoga, communing with nature, connecting with others, using technology for spiritual purposes, etc. Modern living and spiritual living don't exclude each other. On the contrary, it is very possible and even advisable to live a spiritual life while fully engaged with the various dimensions of the modern world. This meaningful and creative engagement adds fullness to a spiritual life. So there is lots to this paragraph. I found it very rich and a kind of good and elegant opening. But we are exploring how does spiritual life starts, and suggestion here is that we need to slow down. We need to We need to pause. We need to slow down with the karma of the body, mind, and the world. I will explain what that means. But I will give you an example from my life. So I'm originally from Serbia. I came to the United States in 1999 from a world war-torn country. So I had nothing but gratitude and appreciation when I came here. I was like, oh, this is great. I got, at the age of 30, I got the chance to actually start my life anew, so I really appreciate it. But I did notice one interesting thing about the US and the West in general. Everybody is very, very, very busy. So the life looked to me like people live on a hamster wheel, and you know that metaphor very well. So busy with work, busy with family, busy with money making, busy with multiple careers, busy with problems, busy with social media nowadays. So busy, busy, busy. So when we are busy, the deeper dimension is never going to reveal itself to us. So if we don't slow down, if we don't go out of that hamster wheel of everyday life, we will actually never experience spiritual life, spiritual dimension, deeper life. True healing is never going to happen for us. Enlightenment is never going to happen for us. So this pausing and this slowing down turn out to be very, very, very important. So the question arises, how do we slow down? And it's not that difficult. You either slow down externally or you slow down internally. You slow down externally, you go to nature. You go to park. You go for a weekend somewhere. You have some quality time with your friends and family. You pause and slow down internally. You can read a book. You can pause actually at home. You can say, okay, I'm going to turn off television, no social media for 2 hours, and I'm going to read a good quality book. And it's a slowing down. You will drop deeper. You can meditate. You can do yoga. You can do Tai Chi. So there are numerous ways of slowing down and pausing. Everyday karma, the key is just to do it, and the key is just to do it regularly. When I was a practitioner, before I became a teacher, my favorite way of slowing down and pausing was actually to do spiritual retreats. Back then I was following several teachers, and for instance, one Zen teacher was organizing lots of spiritual retreats in Utah Desert, the high desert. I loved it. I did numerous of those. My own teacher, Mokshananda, was offering satsangs in Boulder and in Seattle and in Santa Cruz, where I ended up living. So what I realized when I did those spiritual retreats as my favorite form of pausing and slowing down was that I exclude myself from my daily karma. Back then I was fairly happy with my life. I was married, my son was little, I was a 10-year philosophy professor, so everything was okay, but I needed to explore a little bit deeper. So I noticed what was happening back then. I would leave my everyday routines and everyday karma at home, and I would place myself somewhere else, did some healing, did some spiritual work, and then come back totally transformed. So that's the idea of this pausing and slowing down. You drop deeper, you hear, and then you come back to your everyday life, everyday routines, everyday karma, transform, and then you re-embrace your life, and that's how transformation happens. The best way to do some high-quality pausing and slowing down is actually engaging with spiritual practices, and that's the suggestion of the book, and that's one of the basic premises of the book. So meditation, satsang, yoga, Tai Chi, those are the best breaks that you can give to your body, to your soul, to your mind, and those are very, very potent transformation practices, and that will transform your everyday life. You can do it on your own, you can do it with others, you can do it with me, you can watch this podcast, you can attend my events, you can attend some other people's events, but that's my strongest recommendation. So if you want a high quality pause, a really, really holy pause, if you want to really, really slow down, engage with some spiritual practices. I'm just going to mention one more thing to kind of inspire you. So if you look at this notion of pausing and slowing down, and if you analyze literally all religious and spiritual traditions, they all insist that Sunday is the time for God and time for spirit. So even on those weekly basis in spiritual and religious traditions, they realize that at least one day should be totally different than everyday routine. And in religious context, that's the day for God. In spiritual context, that's the day for spiritual practices. I practice both and I recommend both. I may be more on this spiritual side, a little bit more contemporary. But Sabbath has certainly his own place, its own place in everyday life. So please do a holy pause, and those of you who watched previous episodes know that I insist upon the experiential part of this podcast. The experiential part is the key for spirituality. We talk about spirituality, we read about spirituality. By doing spirituality is absolutely the key, and in each episode we do some experiential stuff. So I want to give you 3 ways today, very short, very effective ways on how you can pause in your everyday life. And first way is very simple, very potent, very transformational, and we are going to do it. So I invite you to right here and right now, so go back to your senses. Just focus on the smell. So how does your environment smell? Focus on the sounds. You'll clearly focus on my voice right here, right now, but there may be some other sounds in the environment when you are, so just focus there. I'll give you one more example. For instance, if you're having a lunch, so you can focus on the taste in your mouth. You can focus on the sense of touch. So notice the vast majority of you are probably sitting or doing something. So just notice how ground holds your chair holds you. And notice one extraordinary thing that happens when we come back to senses. When we come back to senses, we are always in the here and now. You cannot smell past. You cannot smell future. You always smell what's in the now. And that's why that's a very, very, very good pause. So let's say you have a lunch break and you're on your own. That happens to me a lot. That happens to everyone in the West. And instead of going on social media or on the phone or on computer or whatever, you just put everything down, you eat, and you fully focus on the sensation of food in your mouth. So you come back to present. And that's the holy pause right there. So senses always bring us back to the now, to the presence. And thank God for senses, and that's the holy pause. The second example of a holy pause is also very, very simple, and you can do it at any point. So I'm going to invite you just to gently close your eyes with me. So we close our eyes and just notice several things what happens to our whole being when we close our eyes. First, we suspend the outer world and we focus on the inner world. So it's kind of, oh, thank God, I'm leaving behind me all of this, focusing here. So when we focus on our inner world, our body sensations, emotions, feelings, but there's also a sense of presence, sense of deeper peace. It's possible to go there with a little bit of practice. And when we close our eyes, we tune into the inner universe, and inner universe is very, very, very vast, very vast. So we rest in that vastness. And what a phenomenal holy pause that is. And we gently open our eyes. That was number 2 example of a holy pause. And number 3 example of a holy pause that you can implement in everyday life easily is more philosophical and existential. So you can sit somewhere, let's say you're at the lake or in the nature or at home alone or whatever, and you just sit and you ask yourself, but gently and wholeheartedly, what's going on really here? Why I'm here? Who am I? What's my purpose? Who is listening those voices? who is speaking to this guy, Nicola? Is it Nicola speaking, or some higher principle is taking charge here, consciousness or spirit or whatever? So we just ask ourselves philosophically and existentially, what's going on right here, right now? And you slow down, so you notice how your body is relaxed, your mind kind of slows down, you drop deeper. That's exactly what you need to enrich your life. The suggestion in the book is to do this regularly, repeatedly, and we'll do this certainly in the podcast. You can do those pauses, holy pauses on your own. You can do them with your family. You can do them with your friends. You can do them with your spiritual community. We usually call it Sangha. You can do it at work, here at Cruzayo Internet, where we are filming this podcast. In this very room, we have mindfulness sessions with me and with Spirit Without Boundaries. It's really working. It's from 11 to 12, 1 hour of a holy pause in the work environment. So there are various ways to do that. There's lots of places online groups that are good. We have one with Spirit Without Boundaries, and I will share that information in the next podcast. So there are various ways to slow down. When we slow down, when we take this holy pause, the deeper magic starts happening, the deeper transformation is taking place, and the life of healing begins, the life of stability and stillness and bliss and happiness and humor. So it's definitely worthy of doing it. Hamster wheel is not going to take you there. My hope with this podcast that it becomes one of your favorite holy pauses, and this is all for the episode number 3, and episode number 4 will be available very, very soon. Thank you for your attention, and don't forget to take your holy pauses regularly. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.